Eagles win another one. They're on a roll. 28-23. Eagles' top 5 graded players here that we have in this game. Linebacker Zach Bond at the very top of the list with a 92.6. Fellow linebacker Nakobe Dean with a 92.3. Who says the Eagles need linebackers? Not in my mock drafts, baby. Not with a list like this. Offensive guard Mekhi Becton with a 92.0. What year is this? Is this when he was at Louisville?
This is Louisville tape.
We sure? This year? 2024?
Some said it wasn't possible.
Some said it wasn't possible. He proved us wrong. Offensive tackle Lane Johnson an 86.4. Offensive guard Landon Dickerson an 82.3. And Jalen Hurts in this game 79.9 overall grade on Jacksonville's side of things. Guard Cooper Hodges with an 83.5. Trayvon Walker 81.8. I got to think 60 of those points have to just be in the interception return that he had, because that was basically the manifestation of his combine report, which was one of the most incredible plays that we will see so far this season. Linebacker Devin Lloyd with an 80.8. Linebacker Foyesay Aluakon with a 75.0. Edge rusher Josh Hines-Allen with a 73.2. And then quarterback Trevor Lawrence here with a 73.1. Stat that told the story, Dalton. What do we got?
All right, I'll let you guys have the Trevor conversation. One team here could run the ball, and the other one couldn't. The Eagles had 237 rushing yards. Jags had 60. Lawrence, I'm of the believer. I'm a Trevor Lawrence apologist. I'm of the belief that he has not much help at all. The offensive line was a train wreck last year. They haven't run the ball last year or this year well. And the Eagles, I'll say this for their run game, okay? Their best run blocking grade since week 1 against Green Bay. When they have, in their last 4 games, okay, they've won 4 in a row, obviously. Their last 4 games, they have called run plays on 58.6% of their plays. Their first 4 games when they were 2-2, 41%. Saquon Barkley, offensive line, run the ball, don't make Jalen Hurts drop back 45 times a game. Their offense is better. Every last number bears it out that this is the best version of their football team. And honestly, even 2 years ago when they made that Super Bowl run, this was always the best version of their team. Run the ball, let Hurts do some RPO and play action stuff, take some deep shots here and there. You have the receivers for that. This is how the Eagles win ball games. Now, some controversy mixed in here because this could have been a lot wider margin on the scoreboard for various reasons, but this is how they win. Run the ball, be more physical, get out.
I think Hurts is a great point guard. I do. When you don't put too much on his plate in the passing game, I really think he can be one of the more efficient quarterbacks in the NFL. And certainly the way that Saquon Barkley is running the football, the way that the offensive line is playing, of course, having A.J. Brown really helps. Having Devontae Smith when he is out there as well really helps. And I think you just look at a Philadelphia Eagles roster that is filled with superstars at a lot of different areas, and Hurts doesn't feel like he has to take on too much weight. And I'm not trying to say that as like a shot at Jalen Hurts, but when you allow him to really sit back and just be an efficient quarterback instead of this guy that has to have the ball in his hands and create and do all this kinds of stuff, he can be good for you. And I want to give him his props here. Last 3 weeks, passing grades above 75, and his adjusted completion percentage is an 88.7. When he thinks about just kind of the things that he has to do, and I'm not saying that just means it's the dink and dunk stuff, because it's not. He had a 93.3 passing grade when throwing 10 or more yards in this game. So when I say that he is great as a facilitator and as a point guard, that's not me saying, oh, he's just a screen or a dump-off merchant. That's not what he is. He will throw the beautiful deep ball to A.J. Brown. We saw it with Devontae Smith even in the back of the end zone. Like, he is capable of that. I just don't want him throwing 35 times a game. That's all. I want him targeting, 20, 25 times a game. That's what I want Jalen Hurts to throw the ball. We've seen over the last 3 weeks specifically how efficient he can be when that is the game plan. And it only really works because they have Saquon Barkley. And if they didn't have Barkley, I think that they would ask too much of Jalen Hurts, and I think that the return on investments would diminish. But right now, they're really rolling, the Philadelphia Eagles are. So that's how I view that. Stat that told the story, I mean, the Jags' run game was not good enough. We talked about this here on this show over the last probably month. All the talk is always about Trevor Lawrence. If the Jags don't run the football well, they will not win the game. I'm not saying this, again, to be overly critical of Trevor, but he is not at the level of quarterback play that he needs to be, and the receivers just straight up aren't good enough right now with all the injuries that they're going through to win the game passing the ball as like a first and foremost, we are a air it out type of a team. They are not good enough. If they do not run the football well, they will not win the game. That's how I feel, and that's how I think that this game played out. And they even had a shot to win it at the end. Most disappointing for me was that last play that they had.
Ridiculous.
Dude, so, okay, let me walk the people through this, because if anybody missed it. This is the last meaningful play. This was the Nakobe Dean interception. This is the last meaningful play of the game. Jags are down 5. Score was 28-23. They've got the ball 1st and 10 on Philly's 13-yard line. Okay? This game is in reach. They have gotten the ball to a spot where they can win this football game. They throw a wheel route / jump ball to Dearness Johnson, their third-string running back out of the backfield, at a front pylon throw in the end zone. He's 5'10". It's his first target of the game, and it was intercepted because Lawrence threw it too high because Dearness Johnson is 5'10", and he's your third-string running back, and you haven't thrown it to him this game. So it was a hell of a play by Nakobe Dean. I don't want to take away from him. It was a full extension, like diving sort of interception. It was a great play by him. Why is that play? Why is that even an option on what you were doing here? He was one-on-one with the linebacker, so I suppose, like Seth, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but like I suppose you're one-on-one with the linebacker. It's a matchup that you could be comfortable with. But again, it's not like Dearness Johnson's gotten 5 targets in the game at this point.
I might be comfortable with that throw if it was Travis Etienne.
Just first target. I thought that was crazy, and it's just it's more evidence to Doug Peterson and Press Taylor as the offensive coordinators. They are not in sync with this offense. And we've pointed it out from red zone percentages. We've pointed it out from third down percentages. And at the end of the game with a chance to win it, that's what's dialed up. That's what you go for. They are totally out of sync. And I think that this season is lost now because of it for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I think when I watched that play, I as the world's like number 10 Trevor Lawrence apologist.
Number 10?
Number 10. I know 9 people that are
ahead of you.
Ahead of me. This was a bad read. This was a bad play call. I agree.
Yeah.
Should never maybe they're trying to fool them by saying like, hey, Dearness Johnson's never going to run down the field that type of thing. You know, they got man coverage, so like they felt, but like once you get to the end of your job, if you're Trevor Lawrence, like Nakobe Dean has not fallen for whatever you were trying to do, and maybe he just didn't see it. Maybe there was a pass rush kind of in the corner of his eye, so he throws it, and Dearness Johnson was never open. And it's too bad. So I put a little bit of that on. I put a lot of that on Trevor. I think the play call is bad too, but I also put a lot of that on Trevor.
I ran through my stuff. What else you got?
So most disappointing is just the Jags offense in general. I just watch them. There's no identity. I think at this point I
think they want to be a team that just chucks it down the field a lot, and they're not good enough to be.
I don't know what they want to do. I watch them.
They want to throw it deep.
I watch them, and I get that, but you have to set those things. Like we have talked
100%.
We've talked about a different thing that they've done wrong every single week on offense.
Yes,
right.
Yes, we're 9 weeks in. It's not a sample. This is who they are.
Add all these things up through half a season. I don't know what their identity is. I don't know what they're trying to. I actually watch there's them and Dallas that I watch, and even the Jets a little bit where I go, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish here. So I'm serious. Like, at least the Saints, okay, the Saints are really bad on offense. But I know what they want to do, even.
I agree.
And they're just not great at it, and they have injuries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Jags are a team that I have no idea what they're trying to do on offense. I don't know. And that's why Trevor Lawrence is chucking all these deep balls, because I think, well, let's just swing for the fences, and it'll work sometimes. Like a play like that. I don't think they don't do anything with any sort of conviction on their offense at all. And they have a hard time doing it even when they have conviction, because we learned last year they can't block anybody. They still can't block anybody. They can't run the ball at all. They ran for 60 yards in this game, and they're chucking deep balls. They're still chucking deep balls, even when there was a couple of weeks when they got a little more conservative and it started to work. So it's frustrating. It's a frustrating watch. I'm with you. I'll be number 11 on the Lawrence bandwagon. I just don't think there's no way in this offense right now that he's set up to succeed. He's extremely talented. I don't think – is it any different than Justin Herbert last year? when they just weren't. He wasn't set up to succeed in any way whatsoever. He's a young kid, right?
And he's different because Herbert's better.
For now he is, but this is what Herbert looked like last year. What was there that was, and we said
I've liked Herbert through his struggles more than I like Lawrence through his.
I could see that. I'm okay with that.
I could
They're
see
both.
it.
They will both roys. They will both rise from the ashes.
I thought you said they were both on roids.
Like Phenai.
No, I'm kidding. And arms like that. No, anyway. Yeah. But no, I'm kidding. But like, no, seriously though, the difference with Herbert is at least Herbert got wicked conservative. Right,
yeah,
and it was like, okay, he's just not even trying to get it downfield because we can't.
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence is going the other way where he's getting real aggressive, and it looks
want
bad.
Their identity to be. They want to have a top 5 ADOT in the NFL.
That's
I don't know if
they want.
Yeah, but it's like
because that's what they wanted last year.
For sure, and I think that's partly on the quarterback and partly on Press Taylor and Doug Peterson. But like you said, like there's no cohesion. So they're just kind of randomly throwing stuff against the wall offensively, and then like you're gonna get these type of outcomes.
Wasn't there a big thing 2 years ago when they made the playoffs? Wasn't the big thing yards after catch? I thought that was like a whole big thing that they were like top 5. They were like top 5 or top 8 in yards after catch, and we get horizontal and
now
we get the ball in
now they want air
space
yards. Now they want air yards.
Love air yards.
I mean,
of course, everybody does.
It's cool when it works.
It's also the most difficult thing to do in the sport.
100%.
So you just better be ready for it. It also doesn't happen. It also doesn't help that you traded your left tackle last week, right? Not that Cam Robinson was like a world beater. There's a reason why you're looking to trade him, but it just
Cam Robinson 0 pressures against the Indianapolis Colts.
Sorry,
last
what I
night?
meant to say was future Hall of Famer Cam Robinson. It's tough when you trade him last week. It's just a tough look, but.